Hello there everyone, welcome to my darkroom once again after a long pause. This darkroom may look a bit unfamiliar if you remember my workspace from the older videos, because I've been just moving my darkroom within the apartment and this place is still a work in progress. It is not entirely light tight. I still cannot make any prints here, but I can experiment, I can test the darkroom timer, and this is finally time for the power brick video. This is actually going to be the third time I'm shooting this video. The first one I shot but did not upload because I decided to change a lot of things about how the power bricks operated. Then the second time had some awful sound and I didn't want to re-record audio, so here I'm shooting it for the third time. Here are my notes, what I'm going to talk about through the video. I have to mention my setup here. This here is my workbench. We have one overhead camera and another camera here from the side that we will use every now and then. For the lighting setup we have two lights. We have one to the right and one to the left. The lighting in this room is actually broken. If I flick the switch on the wall, nothing happens as the lighting is actually broken. So these are just some freestanding lamps and a desk lamp that I turn off and on manually like this. So a few times I will just have to walk there and turn them off and on. This was the original power brick we had. It had a relay module inside. It's connected to Maya with a long cable with this D-sub9 interface, and Maya will just control the relays directly. By control I mean all we could do was turn the relays off and on. This was simple, it was quick to build, it was effective, but the problem was we could not implement any capabilities in the future because it's not very flexible. The pins are used by the relays, and if you wanted to add more features we would have to add more pins, and we would just quickly run out of interface in the cable and we would be stuck with the power bricks we have and hit a wall and could not add any features in the future. We changed the design of the power bricks during the development phase of this project, which has already taken a bit too long, and at the same time we had to move to these beautiful aluminium cases with flat caps on them. So without further ado, let's review the final unit we have. By the way, this will most probably the box we will ship in, and when you open the box you will see, of course it will be surrounded by some padding material. You will see your darkroom timer, black or white version depending on whichever you had ordered, and here will be an adapter and the remotes you may have ordered. I have already removed the adapter, it has already been plugged in, and on the top we will have the power brick. Let me remove the box for now. Hey, I've already hooked the power brick to the power plug on the wall. I'm gonna use a thicker cable. This is what I had for the prototype. It comes with a standard looking Ethernet cable. And what has changed from the previous version you may have seen, we went for a wider aluminum casing because this is much easier for me to build into. I have more space inside, and also the end cap this one comes with have these little lugs to the side, which means you'll be able to maybe bolt your power brick to a wall or maybe underneath your desk, and it doesn't need to be freestanding like this right now. So we also said goodbye to the flat end caps. The main reason the project took so long, well, the code for Maya was actually quite an advanced stage. I was able to show you most of the features even 1.5 years ago at the launch of the crowdfunding. But especially since we had some time and budget, both of which we have exceeded a bit, but since we had those, we developed the concept even further, And since we are going to come up with even more products in the following years, in the following projects, and they have to play along nicely with what we have right now, we had to develop both the timer, the power brick, and the interface to a point where everything will get along just nicely, even in the future with what else we will add. Because some people reached out to me during the development, during the design, development, and prototyping phase, and they contributed a lot of really beautiful ideas. People said, I want this, I'd like to use it like so and so, and we added almost all these ideas to the product. And then we also had to build some prototypes of the upcoming products, such as the LED enlarger, and we would also make sure that everything would just play along nicely with them in the future. At the same time, some people just want a darkroom timer with really advanced features, but of course they also want it to be easy to use. And for those people, I have some very good news. Setup and basic operation of Maya and PowerBrick is actually quite simple and easy. In this video, we will be setting up 3 different scenarios, actually 4 different scenarios, this PowerBrick and an additional PowerBrick that I have somewhere in this room. We will be going through 4 scenarios, and from basic to more complex, and we will see what we can do, what could be done with each step. So, as I said, basic operation is quite easy. Just take your power brick and remember this. This is for your enlarger, this is for your safe light, and this is for your room light. That's it. If you are going for a basic setup, just plug your enlarger here, your safe light here, and your room light here, and you don't have to adjust anything, you don't have to customize anything, you can just start printing right away. For the first setup, we will go through one enlarger and nothing else. As I said, the power brick, the main cable has already been connected to a wall, so it's drawing mains power 220 volts in my case. Then I have to link the power brick and Maya together, and we do this with this Ethernet cable. It's on the other side. On this side of the power brick, I have 2 outlets. I can use either of them; they are the same. And on back of Maya, I have 3 outlets. Again, I could use any of those. Let me just tuck this cable somewhere. As I've said, this is a simple Ethernet cable, 8-pin. Which means if anything happens to the cable, or if you just want a longer cable or a shorter one, you can just replace the cable easily, or you can just make your own cable. Just remember, neither the power brick nor Maya should ever be connected to a computer with an Ethernet cable. This is a standard Ethernet cable, but this is not an Ethernet connection. It will probably kill your router or your computer, so I will just put warning signs everywhere. Never connect Maya with an Ethernet cable to a router or a computer. Anyway, then I said, in the box you will find an adapter, and that adapter has also already been connected to a wall, and the end of this adapter is right here. You can connect the adapter to either Maya or the power brick. I'll go for Maya this time. Now let's plug our enlarger to its socket. I also have my safe light here, and since my safe light is not connected to Maya, I've also connected it to a plug in the wall, a socket in the wall, and as you can see, it's running. So let me rephrase everything very quickly. I have my safe light here, which I've connected from the wall, which is not connected to Maya. I have my power brick here, my enlarger is here, there's an adapter receiving power from a socket in the wall. Is of course the power brick is also connected to the mains, and there's an off switch. I can just kill all power to the entire system, or I can just turn it on. But if you are still wondering why nothing is happening to Maya, because by default Maya is in the sleep mode, I can just press a button to wake Maya up. And if I want to make a print right away, we are in the darkroom timer mode. I can just click once and we go to the darkroom timer mode. The operation is the same as all previous videos. The focus button here underneath my grade will engage the focus function, which turns the enlarger off and on manually. But you cannot see it because the room lights are just too bright. So let me turn the room lights off. That's one. Here's the other. So with the room lights off, let me check my cameras. Yep, this one is running. Sony has overheated a bit, but it's still working. If I now press the focus button, you can see on the right hand camera especially, you can see that my enlarger turns off and on, which means I can just click here, maybe adjust the height, maybe adjust the focus, click back. None of my room lights are controlled by Maya, which means if I press the room light button next to my expose button, all it does is it dims the screen, it dims the LEDs and the LCD a bit, which is helpful because maybe with the room lights on you want a brighter screen so it's easier to read, but with the room lights off you might prefer a dimmer screen, which is again easier to read. And to start a countdown, you just click the button underneath your time, and it's, in our case, for 5 seconds. It times the enlarger. Oh, sorry, it's 4 seconds. So, click, countdown. You can just turn the right dial to change your time, and use the left click to focus. Again, this is a pretty easy way, and when you're done developing your paper, you can just turn the room lights back on. And to turn Maya off, you can just flick the switch from on to off, or you can just hold down the room button, which will go to turn off mode, and it will just turn everything off. This was basic operation with Maya. Before recording the second part of the video, I had to take a pause. There's some loud noise going on the outside, so I had to wait until it finishes. My new darkroom is much more comfortable to work in, but it's also way louder. Anyway, for the second part we are going to do a 2-plug operation, which means we will add our little safe light to the power brick as well. So let me unplug it. And now I'll just go to second plug, which is the safe light plug by default. Something else I want to show is, if you don't want to use your adapter for any reason on the power brick, you can also connect it to back of Maya. And you might notice as soon as I plug it in, the safe light just turned on, and then it turned off, because by default, as soon as the mains power is available through the adapter, Maya will turn the safe light on. This will be useful in case you are working in your darkroom, you lose power, then it comes back on, and you wouldn't be left in the dark. Your safe light will turn on, and after 5 seconds, in my case, you can customize this. You can customize it, of course, and after 5 seconds, it would just turn itself back off. Of course, you can customize this behavior in all sorts of ways, but by default, as soon as you plug Maya or the power brick in, it will turn the safe light on for 5 seconds. This is the default behavior. Anyway, now we have the safe light hooked up as well. Again, we press a key to wake Maya up. And as soon as it turns on, again our safe light is on, and I'm in the darkroom timer mode once again. And again, let me turn the room lights off manually, at least one of them, so we can see when we are focusing. Again, the focus button is here. I can just click the focus button to turn the enlarger off and on, and I can just click here to start the countdown. However, you may have noticed it. You will notice it's better if I turn all video lights off. So, I'm in my dark room. I'm in dark except for my safe light, which means I can just take out some paper, put it under the enlarger, get ready to print. But before that, I have to focus my negative, which means, or maybe before putting the paper, I have to focus my negative, which means clicking the focus button. And most of you already know this, it's much easier to focus an enlarger when you're in complete darkness. And as you can see, as soon as I click the focus button on, Maya will turn the safe light off. It is also useful when you have your red filter engaged and with a narrow aperture. You can barely see that the enlarger is turned on, but when the safe light is off, you can more easily see that the enlarger has been turned on as if the safe light is off. So this is one advantage of connecting your safe light to the power brick to the Maya, because that way you can just focus in complete darkness. Let me turn the room lights back on, and let's turn Maya off by once again clicking the turn off button. You might notice that my safe light is still on. That's because it has a 5-second delay. Imagine my room lights are off. I just long click to turn off and my safe light will guide me as I exit the darkroom. Once again, you can customize this behavior. You can also just remove the adapter to turn Maya off. Unlike the power brick, there is no power switch like this behind Maya due to some technical limitations. Now, let's go for a 3-plug scenario. What I'm gonna add this time is a room light. So let me just pick it up right here. As I've said, now I have connected a room light. So once again, let's turn Maya on. You may have noticed a slight difference in brightness in the video. Since now we have another room light going, I'm just gonna turn my other 2 video lights off and see how this scenario differs compared to the other scenarios. Again, let's go to the darkroom timer mode, and this time we are right now in the room light mode, which means both my safe light and my room light here. I wonder if you can see it on the second camera. No, you can't, but you can see its light. It's an IKEA desk lamp. And as I was saying, right now both my safe light and my room light are on. I have my room light button here. If I press this button, it will turn the room light off and it will just leave the safe light on. This means I don't have to just walk around, run around in my dark room. I think there's a football game going on and I think someone just scored. Anyway, as I said, this is a really loud dark room. As I was saying, I'm about to make a print. I have to turn my lights off. I don't have to look for the light switch. I don't have to run around in my room. I can just click the room light button and the room light will be turned off. I was thinking of maybe turning this safe light off when the room light is on, but I figured maybe it will be easier. Maybe it will be in the long term better if we don't constantly turn the light off and on. Again, you can just configure this behavior. I just want to have my safe light on at all times. Anyway, we want to make a print. We have a negative in the enlarger, let's say. So let's see how it looks. When I press the focus key, you will once again see that all lights have been turned off, which means I can just remove the red filter. I can maybe raise the enlarger head a bit. Then I can focus in complete darkness. And when I go back to working, my room light will be turned on, just as I left it. So even when maybe I'm just checking how the negative looks, maybe I just want to see what print I can make out of it, just a general impression. I don't have to go turn my room light off. Okay, this thing is almost out of battery as well. I don't have to go turn my lights off. I don't have to do anything. I can just click the focus button, and as clearly as I can see, I can check my negative. I can check my image. And if I want to make a print, the first click of the focus button will throw me into the safe light mode. I can go back or engage this manually, or I don't need to bother with this button ever again, especially if I have a remote maybe positioned here. If I click the expose button while I'm in the room light mode, I will go into safe light mode, and then the second press will just start exposing the negative, and we are back to the safe light mode. Then after that I can just turn it back off and on. So this is the 3-plug operation. Now let's see how we can configure everything